So, no alarms during ours. Sorry, Mike.
It's unusual for the fire to go out when I show up.
So I guess the deal with Yahoo closed in January.
Yeah, so the deal was announced in November, but yeah, it closed in January.
So what's, I was up here with LiveRail and I asked what's the big difference of being part of Facebook. What's the big difference being part of Yahoo?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that the biggest thing that's happening for us is the expansion of scope and the services that we're offering, right? So BrightRoll is becoming, slowly but surely the tech stack for Yahoo. And we're really expanding beyond video into native and all other types of monetization solutions for publishers. So,
okay, so they were just talking about the town hall, and one of the things was too many intermediaries.
Sure.
What's as an intermediary? Are you feeling a little?
Yeah, I was like, oh boy, here we go again. Well, I mean, I think our point of view on the subject is that we'll work with anybody in the ecosystem who adds value to the transaction. But BrightRoll has had direct publisher relationships since inception. And so, our point of view is basically that the quickest way we can give a publisher money with the least complexity is the way that we should get it done. Okay. So we sort of agree with the publisher from that point of view, right? Like the fewer intermediaries, the better it is for everybody.
What's your take on the tech tax? I mean, that came up in the town hall about, as a dollar moves through this ecosystem, not only is there a lot of players involved, but they're all taking a cut.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of a version of, of what I sort of just said, right? I mean, is that, those dollars are getting extracted out of the media transaction. And so the less we can do that, the better. I think that from a publisher's perspective, you want to make sure that you're working with, partners who have the most to offer you from a technology and a yield point of view, and who can sort of cut through a lot of the things that might be getting in the way of you making the most from your content.
So what's a mistake publishers make? I mean, they all want to improve monetization, and they recognize that they're going to have to work with technology providers in order to do that. Yeah. But still, they struggle.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, we all know that publishers make no mistakes. So besides that,
other than
the fact that they don't make any mistakes. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that we're seeing the most is that, there's publishers, I think, certain publishers, I think, need to understand or need to start seeing that, from a programmatic perspective, there are opportunities, right? There is, programmatic, especially in video, does not necessarily mean commoditization of inventory, right, and lower CPMs. In fact, for us over the last, couple of years, we've seen anything, the opposite, right? So we can deliver high CPMs that are consistent with book rates that'll really help publishers tap into programmatic markets. If you look at the overall sort of trend towards programmatic, if you want to be a forward-thinking publisher, you should probably get some experience in that while taking advantage of the budgets that are going.
But even video, because video, we were in the town hall yesterday. There was a lot of talk. Hey, video is great. The CPMs are wonderful. Right. We'd rather sell it direct. Right.
We'd rather sell it for sure. But I mean, speaking of monetization trends. I mean, what we're seeing is that the programmatic buyers understand that, and if they want to get the good stuff, they're going to have to start paying more, right? So the way I would characterize it is there is, especially in true pre-roll video, an enormous amount of supplier power. So that puts a lot of publishers in the driver's seat and really enables them to dictate terms upon which they're going to sell their inventory. So, and we're all affected by that.
Yeah. So. Well, ad blocking, big concern, not a big concern.
I mean, I think, like obviously certain things are happening now, like
because it's for video, right? I mean, like people are not like trying to block banner ads.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from our point of view, I mean, if you look at things like Chrome 45, I mean, the issue there, I don't think we think that this is a long-term thing. I think that we think that this is a temporary thing that publishers need to adapt to, but the buy side needs to adapt to as well. So there'll be this little dip, and there'll be some problems temporarily, but I think over time, as the HTML5 standards are adopted, things.
Are you able to track how much inventory is blocked or not?
Yeah, I mean, we can, and we look into it, and we work with our publishers to make sure that they're doing the things that are right, to make sure that they're monetizing the inventory in the best way possible.
Yeah. So what other trends are you seeing as far as in the monetization?
Yeah, sure. So, so for us, native is a new business, but it's already an enormous business for us.
Define what you mean by native.
Sure. So there's a lot of stuff out there about what native means, and for us, it's a unit in the stream of content. Okay. Right. So it's a seamless user experience. It's built into the page, and that has sort of the win-win-win. Right. The publisher likes it because it doesn't interrupt the user experience. The user likes it because it doesn't interrupt the user experience, and the units perform well, so the buyers like it too. So we're seeing sometimes 2 to 3x CPMs that we can see on banners.
And that you see native going programmatic.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, the infrastructure isn't quite there the way it is with some of the other channels, but I think over time, that's inevitably the direction the industry would probably go, yeah.
Yeah. What do you see as far as industry-wide challenges?
So, industry-wide challenges. I mean, I think, like, where do we begin, right? I think the biggest thing for us right now, or one of the biggest things for us right now is, measurability on mobile, right? So for CPI campaigns, it's pretty straightforward, right? You can, you can track the performance of the campaigns, but for, only 10% but for traditional DR campaigns, it's a lot more difficult to track that, right? So, the ability to measure the performance of a campaign on anything but Android is tough. So we're trying to figure out how to work through that.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about those kind of challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a buyer's perspective, right, the point is that the money will flow where the campaigns perform, right? And so there's a gulf between the supply, right, which is moving towards mobile, and the willingness of buyers to pay high CPMs for that inventory because they can't necessarily track it in the same way, and that's causing that gulf.
I mean, do you see mobile CPMs, coming up towards desktop? I mean, because that's a big concern.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it sort of depends on what you're talking about in mobile, right? So, for example, Yahoo made the decision in January to strip out mobile banners altogether, right, and replace it with native. So, we did that because, we see native being an $8 billion industry, $9 billion industry in the next few years. The performance was better, sometimes CPMs 2 or 3 times what banners were. So, that's the direction we think that.
Yeah. So mobile banner DOA.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but I would say, the trend is clearly towards native, and publishers should probably be taking advantage of that.
Yeah. How about mobile video? I mean, where do you see that going?
So, we launched mobile native video at our YMDC, and so we're behind it. We think it's gonna, just like video on desktop, it's buyers want to have better experiences with their campaigns, and we think that it's a better device to get the message out for the buyers. So the publishers will probably see higher CPMs for those as well.
Okay. I want to open it up to questions. We have a couple minutes left. Anyone? Okay. So last thing is, if we're here next year, hopefully we will be here, and hopefully there won't be fire alarms and stuff like this. What do you think the sort of the big issues will be that we're going to discuss?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think next year the questions. I don't know. I mean, I think every year we come here and it's a year of mobile, right? So
for the last 10 years, yes, it has been.
Yeah. So I would say that that'll probably definitely still be on the docket. I don't know if that's going to get solved in the next 12 months.
Well, I mean, it's a giant shift, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, I would assume. But what specifically you think in mobile will we be?
I mean, I think I think the same issues. I think measurability. I think that's really the key. I mean, this is the way the ecosystem works, right? The buyers want to see performance, but they also want scale, and they want to go where the audience is. And so the faster the industry can kind of pair those things up, the faster we'll be able to, stop making it the year of mobile.
Okay. Will we have fewer intermediaries or more, or the same?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think, if our story is any indication, I think that, if you're a buyer, you probably want to, sort of streamline your operations and your workflow, and you want to be able to go multi-channel to a few different major partners. So I would think that consolidation is probably the dominant trend, but we'll see what happens. There are other guys, a lot of things changing out there.
Yeah. The year of mobile and the year of ad tech consolidation.
Yeah, every year.
Every year. Cool. Mike, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you very much, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.